What's going on, guys? It's Raw from Heroes Avenue. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. I apologize if you clicked on the first stream link that I tweeted out. My OBS actually crashed on me as I was going to go live. So this is the second try, and for whoever is out there with me right now, thank you for joining in. We are talking about some DC news today. There is actually a lot to talk about. So quite a few things have happened since the last stream and the last video. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the Wonder Woman 1984 critic reactions that happened online. They were not very surprising, at least to me. But we're also going to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League and what probably the most interesting and maybe only interesting thing coming out of CCXP. And lastly, we're going to talk about Christopher Nolan and what just happened in the past few hours, or at least in terms of what articles have come out in the past few hours. So I want to talk about that. So how I'm going to do this is whoever is watching right now, welcome. Thank you for joining in. If you are watching, definitely drop a comment down below or drop a chat, and I'll definitely say what's up. And also we'll go ahead and talk to whoever's watching at the end of the stream, and we'll also publish the stream for anyone who's watching after the fact. I know I didn't do a good job of planning these videos, but I plan to do more live streaming weekly, maybe a few times a week. All right, what's going on? Qualiber, I hope I said that right. What's going on? So we're about to get started with our first topic. Whoever jumps in, I'll go ahead and react to what you guys are saying afterwards. But the first topic is definitely going to be Wonder Woman 1984 first reactions. So over the past couple days, this is a couple days now, there's been some first reactions out on Twitter, and they are not really surprising, at least to me. They're not really surprising. So what I'm seeing in terms of first reactions, let me go ahead and try and share this with you guys right here. Here we go. Let's see. Cool. So as you can see, I have a Rotten Tomatoes page up right now, and we're gonna go ahead and read through some of these reactions, and I'm just gonna let you guys know what I think. And really, again, they were not very surprising to me. They were all largely positive. I didn't see too much in the way of criticism, but let's see if we can find some. What's going on, Killer Cameron? Thanks for joining in again. And again, I know you've been jumping on every stream. I haven't done a good job of planning these. But all right, here we go. So Wonder Woman reactions, let's go. So Terry Schwartz from IGN Movies says, I adored it. It's absolutely delightful, absolutely incredible. We'll go through some. Let's go through these reactions first, because they show like what everyone was saying in full. So here we go. Amy Ratcliffe, she says, I got to watch Wonder Woman 1984 yesterday, and honestly, it's just what I needed, what we all needed. It's uplifting, hopeful, and so utterly Wonder Woman. Just a beautiful film with themes that hit you right in the heart. So, of course, they kind of follow this pattern right here. And a lot of them are going to say the F word, and I mean fun when I say F word. So here we go right here. It says Wonder Woman from Courtney Howard. Wonder Woman 1984 is spectacularly fun, a blockbuster with lots to value. Tonally reminiscent of the Superman movies in the best spots. It delivers a different kind of empowering kick than the original. Sentiments and themes are thoroughly enriching. Action sequences sublime. Now, whoever's watching out there, I'm curious to know where Wonder Woman ranks in the DCEU in terms of movies for you guys, because for me, honestly, it's not in my top three. I liked Wonder Woman a lot. I had some problems with the ending of the film, but I guess it just wasn't for me in terms of, I mean, it was for me. I did enjoy the film, but in terms of the top tier DC movies, it's not in my top three. So I'm curious to whoever's watching where it ranks in your DC rankings. I think I ranked them with Darren in a video in the past, so I won't go into that right now. But anyways, it talks about the first two reactions talk about it being reminiscent of Superman movies, and of course Richard Donner's Superman movies is what they're referring to. And I think I saw a couple of other reviews tweeted out that followed in the same line. So hopeful, of course, times we're living in, and all of us can use a little bit of that right now. But we'll see how that really plays out. Let's continue reading. Eric Eisenberg says, huge news. Wonder Woman 1984 is fantastic. The story is excellent and has a timely message. It packs a ton of surprises, and amazing work is done with both Cheetah and Maxwell Lord. Wig and Pascal are both stellar. Get hyped because it's the real deal. Um, story's excellent, has a great timely message. Of course, it's funny that how it has a timely message when this movie was supposed to come out like last year, and I guess especially for the times we're living in right now, it maybe it hits home a little bit, or maybe it provides that escape, or maybe the ideal of what America maybe should be, or how the world should be reacting right now. I don't know, but I'm really glad to see that Cheetah and Maxwell Lord were a shining part of this movie for at least for Eric Eisenberg, because the cheetah looked cool. I was hyped when I saw Wig as Cheetah. We didn't get a lot of it, so I'm really hyped that it actually looks good in the movie. And Pascal, he's been awesome in The Mandalorian, and I'm glad that he has his helmet off. I know he wants to have his helmet off a little bit more. I'm glad he delivers as well. All right, let's see what you guys are saying over here really quick. Qualiber says, came from Nerdy Ways, The True 31, and J.O., J-Man, Anthony, etc. Now I'm in here for some more release to Snyder Cut and DCU. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into some of the release of Snyder Cut news. Actually gonna react to that, reading it with you guys. Cameron says, can't be in my top 3. BVS, Man of Steel, and Shazam. Oh, that's interesting. A lot of people don't have Shazam in their top 3 for Wonder Woman, but I absolutely loved Shazam. I think it gets a lot of hate online from the super hardcore Zack Snyder fans, which I consider myself to be. But I do recognize Shazam as an incredible movie, and I really enjoyed Shazam. What's going on, Modern Nation? Pedro Hernandez, what's going on? Batsy stuff. Air cut. Oh, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I'll address your comment a little later, Batsy stuff. So let's go ahead and continue reading a few more of these Wonder Woman reviews. Terry Schwartz says, I was lucky enough to be among the first to finally get to screen Wonder Woman 1984. I adored it. The first Wonder Woman is my favorite of the modern DC films, and Wonder Woman 84 makes all the smart next steps, telling a very human and very beautiful story for Diana Prince. Now, it's funny, I saw online on Twitter that a lot of people were saying, hey, why is it all the same critics are the ones that get the early screenings? And of course, it's because they're going to give glowing reviews like this. And again, I'm not saying that the movie's not going to be exactly how they say it is, but it is funny that a lot of these same critics are the same critics that we tend to see get these early reviews. Of course, I do believe in that the movie's going to deliver. I'm wondering, some of them are hyping it up as better than the first Wonder Woman. I'm really hoping so. Let's see. Let's read a couple more, and then I'll see what you guys are saying. Josh Horowitz, the highest compliment I can pay Wonder Woman 1984 is that it at times felt like a lost film from the Richard Donner era of the superhero films. Plenty to love in this one. I have some exciting stuff cooking with the cast and Patty Jenkins. Stay tuned. So Josh Horowitz, as you can see right there, he has some stuff cooking with the cast. He's going to have some interviews. So you're not going to want to say anything real negative, but a compliment, I guess, especially for people who grew up with the Richard Donner Superman movies and it holds a special place in their heart. Maybe some people still consider Christopher Reeves the best Superman. This movie obviously aims to be that, just like the first movie kind of did, aims to be kind of a throwback to that era of superhero movies. And I'm curious to see, at least from the trailers, Patty Jenkins really leaned hard into those 80s campiness with some of the trailers, and to be honest, some of them they weren't for me. So I'm really hoping in the context of the movie it really works for me. I'm hoping it does. All right, and then let's see from the Independent article. I'm trying to see if there is any disappointment or anything different. So some people are saying the sequel is superior. And here's Perry Nemiroff. Obviously, she's from Collider in the past. I prefer Wonder Woman to Wonder Woman 1984. Okay, so there's one where she prefers the first movie to this one, but I also prefer much seeing filmmakers take a new big swing with the sequels, and it's definitely what Patty Jenkins and co. do here. And yeah, that is one thing that I cannot that I cannot deny them. She really took a big swing. This is total departure from what we saw in the first movie in terms of tone, and and it's going to be its own story, and I think that's what she kind of said she wanted to do. And then I think Dorian over here is going a little way too crazy with this one. Let Patty Jenkins take charge of the entire DCEU. I wouldn't want that, but I'm sure a lot of people would. Let me know if you guys would like Patty Jenkins to take over. Let's see what you guys are saying before we kind of move on from this. Let's see if you guys want to talk a little bit about this more. Cameron says Joker isn't a DCU movie, so Shazam made your top 3. And it says my wife took me to see it on my birthday, had so much fun with her, holds a special place for me, and we keep rewatching it. That's awesome, man. What a great way to celebrate your birthday with a DCU movie. And all these movies always felt like events to me. I really miss going to the theaters. And Joker, yeah, isn't a DCU movie. You're right. So yeah, I respect that for sure. So Qualibert says Man of Steel, Aquaman, and BVS, and then Wonder Woman's on the 4th. Wonder Woman might be on the 4th or 5th. I gotta do another ranking myself. And then last, Killer Cam says I'd like to see negative reviews after reading all these good ones just to get both sides. Yeah, I don't like to go all blind and ignorant. I agree. I didn't find too many negative ones, but maybe when the full embargo lifts, we'll get to see a little bit more criticism. But one person here, last few I'll say, is Kristen Wiig is phenomenal as Barbara. GameSpot says, Mike from GameSpot says Kristen is great, but Pedro almost steals the show. Dude goes hard. All right, I'm glad to see that. Okay, we're gonna go ahead. They all kind of feel like the same kind of thing that they're saying, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next spot. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this movie. Are you guys hyped? Are you guys gonna see it in theaters, or are you guys gonna stay home and watch it with HBO Max? I'm definitely gonna be watching it at home with the family. Christmas Day, we're in California right now. We're all kind of sheltering in place again. We're all locked down, and I got a special surprise for my parents, so I'm gonna at least the gift. They might be listening in from the other room right now, but I'm gonna be watching it with them, and I'm gonna try to. It'll be something special. I think it'll be a good holiday celebration with them. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. What do I got on as the next topic? So my next topic, as you can see from the picture right there, is this DCEU. I'm sorry, not DCEU. The Snyder Cut. Some Snyder Cut news. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go onto our Twitter account for this one to pull up the article. I have to delete this because that first live stream didn't work. I apologize, guys. So I tweeted out here on our Heroes Avenue channel. It says, or Heroes Avenue page. It says, missed CCXP, but this little moment seems to be the only newsworthy thing to come out in terms of comic book movies. And this is, CCXP was on Sunday. I had live streamed in the past that we were supposed to get our first look at Catwoman potentially at CCXP. At least that's what the scoopers were kind of projecting out there. And unfortunately, we didn't get that, which was a huge bummer. And I'm kind of glad. I was debating on whether or not I should stream this. But I'm glad I didn't, because it was like 6 hours of potential nothingness. So let's get into this article. I didn't get to read it yet, but I heard some people talk about it. So I'm going to quickly read through it, and then let's see what it had to say. So it says, so again, credit to comic book movies right here. Zack Snyder's version of the DC Universe may soon be extended into comics. Scott Snyder, the acclaimed Batman and Justice League comics writer, no relation to Zack, took part in a panel at this weekend's Comic-Con virtual experience event. Discussion was mostly for Snyder to promote his new American Vampire 1976 series. He did touch on some mainstream DC Comics work. According to Omelette, who sponsored the event, Scott Snyder at one point said that DC Comics asked him to help with the comic adaptation and expansion of the Justice League Snyder Cut mythology that Zack Snyder is doing on HBO Max. Scott Snyder half jokingly said that he turned the job down because I had a lot of jobs ahead of me and I can't deal with people confusing us anymore. Um, so it just means, so basically the article goes on to say it doesn't mean that that job offer didn't go on to someone else. Now, I think you've heard Zack Snyder in previous live streams uh, talk about his admiration for Scott Snyder, and his, so I think someone asked him on one of the recent live streams he did was, who's kind of one of your favorite comic book stories right now? And he didn't really commit to a story, but he did say, I do like Scott Snyder's work. And Scott Snyder, I think he appreciated that. Um, and I guess this could be why, maybe Scott Snyder, he tapped the Scott Snyder potential to, maybe leading up to the Snyder Cut being released, maybe DC Comics was going to publish some, maybe one-offs or maybe even a trade. Or actually, I'm sorry, maybe some short one-offs or spin-off stories from the Snyder Cut, universe that Zack Snyder had in mind but couldn't put in the movie. So that could be an interesting thing to see. I'd be really excited to see that, especially because there's no guarantee of a Justice League 2, but DC and Warner Brothers definitely want to hype this movie up and make it become successful. And success can lead to more things more doors opening up, right? So if they released a comic leading up to it, I'm sure it would get a lot of fans hyped for it. And there's just plenty that happens in this universe off screen, and I think it would be really cool to see Zack Snyder's vision expanded on, and to be expanded on by Scott Snyder, who did some incredible work on Batman and even his recent Justice League arc. That would be awesome because his kind of style probably matches with Snyder the most right now as far as comic book writers. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if you guys think that other comic book writers could expand. Which comic book writer out there right now would fit in line with this project of expanding the Snyderverse? Really curious. Now, some people were talking about it in terms of expanding the Snyder Cut because we may not get a Justice League 2. Obviously, I've talked about it in the past. People are always talking about having a Justice League 2, but you got to think, to bring all of these people back, potentially, if it was a movie, it'd be awesome. A live movie in the theaters would be awesome. But if it was if they were going to continue this on HBO Max as a streaming thing, it would be a lot to get all these actors together and pay all these top tier actors their salary that they charge or whatever. So it would really be hard. I'm not saying it's impossible. I would love for it to happen, but maybe they're expanding on it in terms of the ending of this movie going in and what would have happened. That'd be cool too. Curious to know what you guys would prefer. Would you prefer comic book writers dropping one-off stories to expand the universe before the movie comes out? Or would you like to see this continued as a comic series after the movie comes out? Let's see what you guys are saying here. Let's see. HBO Max needs to be in Roku already. Oh yeah, that sucks. I know it's still not available everywhere. Diligence talking about Wonder Woman. You're gonna go to see Wonder Woman going on Christmas. Oh man, I do miss the theater experience. Killer Cam says CCXP ducked and blowed. Watch 10 minutes and bounced. Yeah, I'm totally glad I didn't. I'm totally glad I didn't jump in there. Jesus Suarez. Everyone was pissed about CCXP. I got pissed too. I was planning on doing a video on Sunday because I missed Friday's video, and I'm really glad I didn't. But I'm glad some news came out of it in terms of the Scott Snyder stuff. It just gives us a little bit of nuggets to, chew on and expand on in our, discussions here. Lemon End says CCXP was such a letdown. Yeah, everyone thought so. So Cam says you want Justice League 2. Yeah, I wanted to. And he says couldn't be Grant Morrison. His Batman would have gotten duped so many times by Lex. Yeah, I don't know. Grant Morrison has been doing a lot of crazy stuff lately. I tried to get into his latest Green Lantern run. Couldn't get into it, but Grant Morrison definitely has a different style. I don't know if it would match so much what Snyder wants to do right now. Yeah, I think one-offs is probably what's going to happen. Colin C is saying, is Wonder Woman 1984 playing anywhere in the Bay Area? Oh, man, fellow Bay Area resident over here. I don't think so, man. We're on lockdown, so I know a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people are wanting to go out into theaters. Um, I was considering it. Playing around with the back of my mind, but now that these lockdowns are in place, theaters are going to be hurting, man. It's going to be hurting. Um, and then TTC Sniping says, I think they'll do sequels to Zach's Cut like The Mandalorian on HBO Max. It's inevitable. That's a good point right there. Mandalorian on HBO Max is utilizing a lot of incredible technology to cut down the costs, and actually, it's working really well in terms of throwing you into the universe. And so maybe that's a way they could do it for sure. I totally forgot about that. Mandalorian, by the way, is amazing. And you know what what kind of money can bring all these actors back is this streaming money. So if HBO Max is, going to continue to do so well with the latest news of dropping all of their movies from next year onto their streaming service, it's a good chance they're going to jump up there in terms of revenue, and maybe they'll have enough money to continue this, especially if the fans continue to support it like we've been doing. It'd be a real big disappointment if it took 2 years of fighting for fans to go all in with this, all in with the suicide prevention support, and then no one goes and gets HBO Max. It's kind of like we got to do our part in terms of supporting, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I got about 15-20 more minutes, guys, before I gotta go. Let's move on to the next topic. So hopefully Snyder's vision will get to continue in the future. We shall see. So I'm gonna go back to Twitter right here to see what else I was posting about. Let's see what else I was posting about. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, guys, by the way. Trying to get more active on there, but I usually take what we talk about on Twitter and use them as topics here. So so it's funny right here. This Grace talked about how Catwoman was supposed to debut and she actually didn't, which sucked. Okay, so last one here. Christopher Nolan rips HBO Max as worst streaming service. This just came out like a couple hours ago, I think, or 3 hours ago. It says right there. So let's check out what Christopher Nolan had to say, guys. And this is a funny little graphic right there. The rug's getting pulled right down from under all these big movies right here by, is this Jason Kilar? And I'm not sure who this person is. But let's see what the Hollywood Reporter has to say about this. Christopher Nolan rips HBO Max as the worst streaming service, announces Warner Brothers' plan. So let's just go straight to his quotes. Because you guys already know from the last stream and the last video what Warner Brothers is doing with their streaming service and their 2021 slate. Some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up to find out they were working for the worst streaming service. Whoo, that is harsh. That is harsh. That one kind of hurt me from reading it. And then this is filmmaker Christopher Nolan, whose relationship with Warner Brothers dates back to Insomnia in 2002. And he said this to the Hollywood Reporter. And he added, Warner Brothers had an incredible machine of getting filmmakers work out there, both in theaters and at home. And they are dismantling it as we speak. They don't even understand what they're losing. Their decision makes no economic sense. And even the most casual Wall Street investor can see the difference between disruption and dysfunction. Does he say anything else? Oh my gosh. This is huge. So I'm not going to go ahead and read the article. You guys can definitely check out Hollywood Reporter if you'd like. This, we're just going to talk about the comments right here. They are absolutely devastating comments. If you are a fan of, oh my gosh, I'm not even showing you guys what the article says. Let me see if I can show it again. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can see the article. It should. There we go. So I wasn't sure if you guys were even able to see the Wonder Woman review. Sorry about that. But here's the article. Here's what he said. That is harsh, especially in terms of movie stars went to bed at night before thinking they were working for the greatest studio. This is the studio that apparently, gives directors and artists their creative vision, room for their creative vision, right? Except for Zack Snyder sometimes, right? But that's the old guard. But now, Christopher Nolan's one of those guys who was holding out Tenet for the theatrical release. He's all in, just like Patty Jenkins is, and most directors, I think, is all in for the theatrical experience. For me, I understand. It's how I grew up. It's what they set out to do. This is how they wanted their art to be displayed in the cinemas. And I could understand his outrage right now. But man, he is biting the hand that feeds him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure any other studio would love to pick up Christopher Nolan. I'm wondering which studio would fit the best for him. But WB, we always knew Christopher Nolan was with WB. It just everything, WB would give him incredible. I think he has an incredible contract clause, take home for the box office of each movie. So that's an add-on clause to what they're already paying him off top. So he's definitely a director that has a lot of weight and a lot of pull. And with him saying this, and him, he's just actually one of the people backlashing right now, or causing backlash. There's, I think, Legendary, who financed 70% of Dune, is trying to sue or threatening to sue Warner Brothers. It's absolutely nuts, guys. I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out, because apparently the theaters barely got any word that HBO Max was going to make this move. Legendary got no word that they were going to do this move until they saw it announced. And I don't think Christopher Nolan got word that this was going to happen. But it's just I'm seeing people on two sides of the fence here on Twitter attacking Christopher Nolan, saying he's a bitch, he sucks, whatever. He doesn't understand that people have to stay safe, and I totally agree. He doesn't understand that this is a real virus out there. He's standing there on the top of his cushy mountain, maybe in his mansion somewhere, not realizing that people are at risk, and people don't want to put their loved ones at risk. And I totally understand that. But then there's actually, I haven't seen a lot of people agree with him. So mostly I've seen that. I've mostly seen people criticizing him. So I'm curious to know what you guys are saying. Let me check the comments over here. So Cam says, why are people so upset with WB and HBO Max? I suggest getting over it. Me too. Obviously I'm one of those people that I want to keep people safe no matter what. And as much as I love movies, it's hard for me to risk it. It's really hard. I want to really bad. But Lemon says, don't get me wrong, but I am with Nolan. I see it. So we got a person agreeing with Nolan. I get it. Totally get it. Because this is going to really hurt movie theaters. I know it's simultaneous release, but not a lot of people are going to choose to go to the theaters. Once everything is safe, I'm definitely rushing back there to support theaters, but I don't know if it's ever going to be the same. So he gets 20% of the box office. Yeah, that's crazy. Colin C says Nolan basically has carte blanche with WB. Yep, you're correct. And let's see, prime example of why he isn't in charge of a studio. So Diligent says he's a prime example of why he's in charge of the studio. He keeps thinking that movies will be at 100% capacity. They won't for probably the next year or longer. You're right too. I wouldn't call him, but yeah, I wouldn't call him a bitch either. He is just a passionate artist. I understand from being somewhat of an artist in terms of some of the things I do for work and creative decisions I like to make. And I kind of hate when I don't get my way, to be honest. So that's the thing, is how a lot of artists are like. And I'm sure if you guys are artists out there or just creative in your own work, you probably want to have control of what you're putting out there. And, you got to understand, he did write Tenet. He writes these movies. He puts so much years of work into it, and then it becomes a streaming service thing, and people are watching it with their phones on, and I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying sometimes it's just casually on. That's not how an artist wants their work to be experienced. Qualibris says, who did Interstellar? That was the best superhero movie in a while. Interstellar was amazing. That was Christopher Nolan, but I don't think he wrote it completely. I think his brother wrote it or something like that. Interstellar is one of my favorite movies for sure. But it is definitely a Christopher Nolan movie. But superhero movie, yeah, I don't know how it's considered a superhero movie. You might have to explain a little bit there. But anyways, guys, That's the stories. If you guys have anything to say, definitely drop down in the comments of the video. I gotta run. It's past the baby's bedtime. I gotta put the baby to sleep. So I appreciate you guys jumping in. It was real fun chatting up with you guys. I'm gonna attempt to do a live stream on Wednesday night as well. If not, it's gonna be for sure on a Friday. So I'm gonna do these streams. I'm gonna do more of these streams. I'm gonna try to do a few a week. They're a lot easier than editing a video, and they're a lot more fun too because I get to interact with you guys directly. So that being said, guys, hope you guys have a good night. Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Spread the word. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. So I'll see you guys. Cam, Qualberg, Diligent, Lemon End, Colin. Who else is in here? Modern Nation, Pedro. I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys have a good night. Okay. All right.